Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Like us on Facebook.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.
Keep listening to our weekly episodes to find out more.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. I hope you're having a great Saturday. Finally, we have sunshine. I'm so happy about it because the weather has just been really strange here lately. But spring is on the way. All the trees are blooming and I haven't seen any flowers taking bloom yet, but I'm pretty sure that will be happening soon as well. But I'm just so happy that the sun is shining and it feels so good. Today it's a little cool because of the wind, but again, the sun is shining and it's such a wonderful feeling just to see it brightening up my office and to go outside and feel it on your skin. So, all right, enough of that. I hope you're ready for today's show. If you're not, I am. And I hope that you'll get something from it today as well. So let's get right to it. All right. So the title of today's show is Mission Impossible. And the topic is beating the odds. Now, I believe the key to beating the odds, depending on the odds you're trying to beat, is first believing in your abilities. Never take no for an answer and never give up. By sheer determination and owning a strong will to succeed, you can turn an impossible mission to a possible one. First, you must have a plan, one that is realistic and structured. Start by asking yourself, what am I aiming for on this mission? How will I go about flow charting a plan? And what do I want the end result to be? These are all valid questions. All you need to do now is answer them by succeeding on your journey. One of the biggest mistakes most people make when trying to beat impossible odds is making excuses as to why they won't be successful. Now, this is disastrous, a very disastrous mindset. And believe me, if you keep your thoughts stuck in this mode, you won't get very far. You must have a desire to achieve, a bone deep passion for whatever it is you're meant to do in this life. Don't be afraid of failure or allow it to become your crutch. It does happen, and when it does, it doesn't necessarily mean this is where your journey ends. Instead, view it as a movable obstacle, a hurdle, if you will, a barrier that is not stationary, not like a mountain blocking your path. Discouragement comes to us all in many ways. Now, I can tell you that I have suffered so many discouragements along my journey. And some of them were so heartbreaking. But you know what? I took that heartbreak and used it as inspiration to continue on my journey. And sometimes you have to do that, because if you don't, if you give in to, one negative thought, or any, situation along those lines, then, what's the point? If you're going to give up every time something happens that, is not in your favor, then, what's the point of even beginning again? Just stop where you are and don't move any further. But, that's not what today's show is about today. It's about, overcoming impossible missions. Now, and I know the title of the show is misleading by saying Mission Impossible, but it's just flipping those words around, making, turning something impossible into possible. And that's what I want us to do. With sometimes the lemons that life give us, instead of tossing them out, just make lemonade with them. You know, when disappointment happens, don't resign yourself to just wallowing in regret. You know, as we are sometimes apt to do when things don't go the way we want them. I'd like you to view it as a challenge and not something you can't overcome. You know, this just takes me back to Black History Month and to the song that that my forefathers that they sang when they did marches, in the South about racism and things of that nature. And one of the songs that they sang was "We Shall Overcome." It is the Negro, one of the Negroes' national anthems. It's not the national anthem, but it's one of them. It's one that is so inspiring. If you've ever heard the song, "We shall overcome, we shall all overcome someday," it gives you hope. And that's what it's about. That's what these missions are about. These journeys are about. Knowing that you can overcome, no matter what befalls you in the beginning, in the middle, and sometimes even at the end. Just know that these are just small battles. They're not wars. They're just battles, and we can overcome these things if we set our minds to it, if we don't give up. You have to have something stronger than yourself to rely on and in. And I know that my strength comes from the Lord. And not everybody sees things the way I do or feel, about spiritual realness the way I do. But, I am spiritually anchored. And so my beliefs stems from that nothing is impossible, because I know that I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. And I'm not trying to give you a sermon today, but I am trying to inspire you. You may be down in the dumps about something. Maybe you submitted, a manuscript to a publisher and maybe it was rejected. And maybe this is like the 50th time it's been rejected. But you know what? Send it in again. If they made suggestions on it, if they told you to make, change some things about it, to me, that is not a rejection. That is just telling you that it's not quite ready yet, so you need to work on it a little bit more. Sometimes you have to take the things that they don't say into consideration, and don't always take it as a negative, but take it as a positive, something you can learn from and something you can grow from. And that's how I always see it. I'm not telling you something that I haven't experienced myself. I've been in this game for a very long time, and and I never go into it thinking that, rejection, if I send this in, it's just going to be rejected. You can't think like that. You always have to have positive thoughts. You always have to say, well, I'm going to send it in and I'm just going to wait for what they tell me, and that's just how you have to look at it. If you think you're going to fail, chances are you're going to fail. But if you see it, if you can see yourself winning, if you can see yourself walking through this journey in a positive way, then I'm telling you, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. But what you have to do is arm yourself with positivity, because discouragement comes to us in many ways. When disappointment happens, don't resign yourself to just wallowing in regret. And I've said this, before. You can't do that. You just can't do that. God, I just, I so much want to just say that sometimes it's easy to just, whenever we get disappointing news, to just stay in bed and cover up our heads and never, get out of the bed again, close the blinds, pull the shades, lock the door, turn off, everything. You don't want to hear anything. You don't want to see anything. You don't want to have any contact with the outside world. And, that's just not reality, because you can't live like that. You can't just, stick your head in the ground like an ostrich whenever things go, south. You just have to gird yourself up and just keep moving. And that's what today's show is about. It may say Mission Impossible, but we all know that within that word impossible, possible is always there. And again, like I said, you have to arm yourself with positivity. And you start this with deleting the word can't from your vocabulary and thought process. Always remember, we can do all things because they are possible. Self-doubt visits us on many occasions. However, with a little willpower, we can subdue and turn it away just by maintaining a clear vision of what we want, realizing our strengths and improving our weaknesses, which will enable us to complete our missions while beating the odds. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. Short and sweet. How I always like to keep it. I never want to keep you longer than necessary because I know you have things to do. It's the weekend, and who doesn't? You don't want to spend your time listening to a podcast. But I hope that you are listening. I know that you are listening to the podcast, and I thank you so very much for it. Next week, folks, we're going to have another guest, author. Her name is Autumn Cherry, and I mentioned her last week, and I hope you're excited about hearing from her as I am. She has a new book out, and we're going to talk about that, as well as a few other things dealing with writing and her journey as a writer, and a few other things too that she has under her belt. So I'm excited about it. Can't wait to have a chat with her. And then after this next Saturday, we have one more interview with a poet, and then we'll be gearing up for more interviews coming up in April and May. So get ready for that. And before I let you go, I just want to, just give you a few of the URLs to let you know that where you can get the show, Book Chat with Vivian E. Moore. Of course, it's broadcast through Spreaker, and that is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. You can follow me, like me on all social media. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also, if you like today's show, you can listen to it. If you're not listening to it live, you can listen to it, the recorded version on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And if you go to Facebook or either Instagram or Twitter and just click on one of those sites that I've given you, it'll take you straight to it. So that's why I've stopped giving you all of these URLs, because it's really not necessary if you are on social media, or if you are on if you do jot down the URL for Spreaker, then it will take you to all of my social media sites. So you can just click in. But I will give you one more, and this one is actually to my blog site, which is https://vivianemore.blogspot.com, because today's episode and last week's episode, which I failed to upload to blog site, will be uploaded today, so you can go out there and read those transcripts if you so desire. And also, if you like, you can go out there and check out my website, which is at https://vivianmore.wixsite. That's wixsite.com /author Vivian Moore. Vivian Moore. And also, tomorrow is worship day, and I hope you're planning to go to church tomorrow and taking some loved ones and neighbors and friends with you. And also tell someone that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance we get to say that. So I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Thanks for joining us.
Download episodes of previous shows.
If you enjoyed today's show, please head over to iTunes, give us a rating, and leave a review.